Hey everybody, it's Captain Joe from Help Heal Veterans, and I am very happy to have the president of NAMTA, Lawrence, here with me today to talk a little bit about creativity, wellness, but especially about resiliency. You know, we talked about healing last year, and Lawrence gave us some great insight from both a personal and an industry perspective on creativity and how it helps with the healing process. This year we're talking about resiliency, which is kind of the other side of the coin, because that's what the military does, is prep our soldiers and airmen and Marines and sailors for the stress and trauma of combat. So, not talking about it from maybe a veteran perspective, but to start off, what do you think the word resilient means?
You know, it's interesting because there's an old Japanese proverb. You know, I work for a Japanese company, right?
Yeah.
An old Japanese proverb. It's basically says, get knocked down 7, get up 8. Right?
Right.
So basically it's, look, life's going to come at you. You're going to get knocked down. Just keep getting back up. Get back up at least one more time than you get knocked down, right? End up on your feet. So being resilient is being able to, because things are going to come at us all.
Right.
Right? So when something does happen and it's going to impact you, and it's going to knock you down, but just get back up. Do everything you can to get back up and get moving again. So.
That's great. I mean, I've studied martial arts for years, so I'm all over
the
Japanese, you know, that
especially to get knocked down.
I know, right? Get back up, the kind of thing. That's awesome. So, how do you think creativity or being creative or creative habits kind of help somebody to be resilient so they can get up that one more time when they're knocked down?
You know, what I find is when you stop and focus on something else, right? And to me, being creative gives you the opportunity to focus on something else. Now, creativity means a lot of things to a lot of people, right? And it's not necessarily just sitting down, you know, using a pen or using a paintbrush or creating a piece of art. But when you do something like that, it enables your mind to focus on that, and kind of, I'll say for me personally,
right,
it kind of recenters me a little bit.
Right.
It kind of all the outside noise goes away, and I'm able to focus on that particular thing, and it calms my mind.
Right. So by calming your mind, I think it makes you a better leader, father, husband, person.
Oh, I think it does, because it gives me an opportunity to really reflect and think about what is really important.
Right.
Right. Again, there's a lot of noise. We all go through it every day,
yeah,
right? And we're getting hit from every angle. But to me, it allows you to say, okay, really, what's really important here? Is all that really important? I'm focusing, and what is really important kind of comes to the top.
That's great insight. You know, I've talked to therapists before, and sometimes they've kind of shared is they will give somebody like a mantra or some type of saying. So when they're you know, they feel that they're being stressed, they will say this themselves to help them calm down and get that state of mind they were in when they kind of ingrain that habit.
Right.
You know, so I'm kind of thinking maybe being creative, like if you're under stress, you know, doing something creative might help, you know, mitigate that while you're going through it. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I totally agree. Because again, as I was talking about it kind of tricks your mind into only paying attention to that thing, right? Focusing on that. And
yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of people don't, when they think of like doing art or doing craft or something like that, yes, it's about the finished product, but it's also about the process.
Yeah.
Right? It's about the creative process. It's about taking something and there's nothing there and you're creating something.
Yeah. Now, do you have a story of something that you maybe, or an example from you or somebody else, something in the industry that you've seen that somebody's had this habit, it's kind of helped them through a stressful time?
Well, I can tell you, and this is kind of a quick shot. So in our booth this year at the show, we've got an artist with us, incredibly talented. But the thing I love about him, his name is Blake Berrios. The thing I love about him is that he gets people engaged. So he starts an art project. It's a pretty big, it's a horse, it's beautiful down there. Starts an art project and then gets, like, people be walking down the aisle and say, hey, come on over here and contribute. I'm like, wait, I don't want to mess it up. But there was a young boy, I'll leave the name out, who's here, 16-year-old, and he's having a hard time. He's being bullied.
Right.
And it was really, really sweet because he came over and he was getting so engaged in that. And he came back like maybe a dozen times, and we'd talk to him, and Blake would talk to him, and his mom came over and said, "Thank you so much. This is exactly what my son needed to feel appreciated, to feel respected, and to feel seen."
Yeah.
And that really touched my heart because you don't know what people are going through when you walk by in a hall or walk in a trade show. You don't know what's going on in someone else's life, but to have that make that much of an impact for this person, it was awesome.
That's amazing. And just for our audience, Blake talked to us before, and he's got a great interview, so check us out on YouTube to hear from him.
Yeah.
That's a good segue. There's a lot of talk now, at least about wellness, creativity, but I'll get to that in a second. But also about like maybe Gen Z going more to what they, some people call analog hobbies, and why do you think that is? That people are maybe not so much trying to do a digital detox, but why do you think that trend is happening, and what do you think people benefit by doing that?
We grew up in a different time, right? We were outside, we were running around, we were playing, right? The kids today, they basically grow up with a computer in their hand. Yeah. They've got access to everything. And I think there's some detriment to that.
Right.
And I think what's happening to some of our younger folks is it's creating a high level of stress, because they're looking at, our mind can only process so much. Our brain wasn't, we get news from all over the world at a moment's notice. So we know all the horrible things that are happening, all the great things, but there's so much information, it gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I think being able to pull away from that, whether it's your cell phone, computer, TV, whatever, any electronic component, being able to pull away from that, I think people are seeing that, they feel more comfortable, they feel less stressed, and it's more about, okay, this is kind of my me time.
Right.
And I think it's incredibly important now more than ever, because we are so attached to technology and electronics.
Now, I think you're exactly right. I've talked to therapists who deal with children and talk about bullying, and that, unfortunately, the case of the child that Sherry shared is not uncommon. It's pretty common, but it used to be like, not to say that, we're old guys, get off my lawn, kid, kind of talk. Right. But that said, there was a safe space when you went home from school or from your friends. You were home and you were safe. Now, and I've heard from psychologists that this social media follows you. You're 24/7 in an arena.
Yes.
And there is no more safe space for you, or at least that is. So I can see how this creativity, kind of what we do, can provide that safe space to tune out from that.
That's a great point, because the bullying piece that you talked about, like if it happened at school, now it doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
Because now they've got this digital platform where they can broadcast whatever they want to broadcast anytime they want to. So I'm glad to see that that's becoming a trend with that younger generation.
So am I. Hopefully it'll keep on going. And I think that's a great another segue.
Oh, there we go.
There.
like
so from I know, right? From I'll ask you from two perspectives. First, from your company, Uchida, who does great work and has a lot of great products. How do you guys approach either using creativity and either wellness, resiliency, healing, however you want to talk about that? Does that go into your strategy when you talk about the kind of products you want to create and how you position them?
Well, it really does. And, just for people who don't know, we make pens and markers, right? Okay. So the thing about our product, it can't stand alone. You can't just buy a pen and then, it needs a surface, right? And so the way we kind of look at that, our pen needs a surface and our pen needs a person, right? Because again, you can buy a pen and sit on the table, it's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So we always look at it from a personal connection standpoint. We try to when we look at products and design our products, it's the extension of the person, right? Picture like it's the extension of your hand. So it's just a tool that can be used to help someone express their creativity, but we have a slogan that's called creating in color. Basically trying to make your life more colorful, more beautiful.
Right.
So when we're very focused on the end user and how they're using our product. So when it comes to the barrel design or the size, we have a Le Pen which is really, really thin. The barrel is really thin, and from like my mom is 84. Yeah. Her hands don't work as well as they used to, but she can hold on to the Le Pen because it's nice and small and it's comfortable in her hands, and she can use that longer because it doesn't tire her out, right? It's not a big barrel. I know it sounds kind of silly.
No, it's awesome.
Because I don't think about it because it doesn't matter the size of the barrel to me, but it does to her. She can't hold on to a large pen, but she can hold on to a smaller one.
Well, that's amazing, because like we do similar things at Heal Vets. We have older veterans who may be all upstairs mentally, but no longer have those fine motor skills. So we can maybe make a product with maybe a larger needle or bigger holes, or buy special pens in order for them to use that, as well as the young 18-year-old Marine soldier, whatever, who's doing it. And I tell you, I love your products. I love the pens, because the pen, to me, there's just so much you can be creative. Like a blank piece of paper and a pen, there's so much you can do with that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It doesn't take a whole lot. You don't have to have a whole lot of supplies.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And you know, and I think what's also, you know, we hear about creativity, and you know, for those who, you know, may not be afraid of taking that first step, you can create something but show it to nobody.
You're right.
You know,
exactly.
it's not like you're trying to pick art to display. If you're that talented, awesome.
Right.
But the benefit just comes from doing it for you, yourself, a great pen like you guys make, and a piece of paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So let's make a step above. You're the outgoing president of NAMTA. And although, by the way, great show. I really love the show here in St. Louis.
Well, thank you.
We as a member have gotten a lot out of this. We've made
Great.
and we've continued some great relationships. We've been a member for a long time.
I'm glad to hear
so,
that. Thank you.
You know, putting on your leadership hat, do you think the industry does a good enough job, you know, as far as NAMTA, on educating folks on the benefits, consumers, you know, not veterans, who we used to do, on the benefits of being creative and resiliency, healing, all that stuff?
You know, unfortunately, I don't. I don't think we do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting better
Yeah.
because, you know, to your point, you are a member of the association. We have
Right.
a lot of members that are like, hey, we're seeing this. We're getting a lot of statistics, a lot of data, how
Right.
important this is. But as an association, I'm not sure we're doing a great job communicating that out to the rest of the membership, or even to the end consumer, right?
Right.
Because, you know, again, I'm probably getting off topic here a little
No.
bit, but man, let's not self-medicate with anything, right?
Right.
Here, if you're having, let's try this.
Yeah.
Right. Let's do this. But the fact that it's helping people, so it's no longer just a hobby or a craft, or
Right.
you know, it's actually a well-being device that people can use to help themselves.
Right.
And so I you know, again, as an association, it's kind of fluttering around.
It is.
Right.
Like,
But we have not done a good job nailing it down or communicating a strategy around it.
yeah, I think, and it can be kind of difficult. I get it, because that's our bread and butter.
Right.
So we're already always talking about it, but I can see, having been in the for-profit space, that it's got to be, you know, not the value proposition to your consumer, and how do you make that message align with the other great messaging about the great product you produce? Because it's this, there's value, it's fun, and it helps.
Yeah.
You know, how do we actually articulate that "and it helps"
Yeah.
piece? But I think, you know, we'll get there. People are all sensing it, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, I think there's some good studies out there that just shows that creativity heals, which is kind of our mission statement,
Right.
in a lot
if
of
you
ways.
don't mind me asking,
Yeah.
because I know you've had some other interviews.
Yeah.
What has been the thought with that question, maybe for other
Everybody says a similar thing, that
Okay.
we know it, we feel it, we sense it. It's hard to articulate maybe in a business case, kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
You know,
Yeah.
so how do you actually do that? Do you need like a study? Do you need like a saying? Is it going to, because you don't want to get into your way of your brand identity? Well, maybe you do, you know, depending on what your
right.
brand does. But how do you make that maybe one of the sub parts of your value? And my thought would be, is can you come up with almost like a mission, vision, not that high, but some type of statement that can be reinforced? We all say it the same way, you know, kind of a thing, you know,
Yeah,
like
same message.
same message
way.
that can be either modified to your particular brand, but
Right.
you all talk about wellness and that. But you also, it's like anything else, you want to be careful that you don't overpromise.
Oh, that's true.
You know,
Yes, because it's gonna have a different impact
No,
for
but
different
to me,
people.
like we are complementary alternative medicine. That's kind of what Help Heal
There you
Veterans do, and we are there to support the clinicians and the docs and the therapists, providing tools to help them on their, and we call it the healing journey.
There you go.
So we take creativity heals and the healing journey, which is kind of what this art is. Not to give us our own plug, but
Yeah,
if
you bet.
you look behind us, you look on the video we've had. This is some art my daughter created, which shows the healing journey, you know, in a graphic comic representation from start to finish, and it's always ongoing. So.
Well,
But
that's awesome. Your daughter did that. That's really
yeah,
cool.
it is. It's great. She's an artist.
Yeah, there you go.
which is awesome. So, is there anything else that we haven't talked about, Lawrence, that you want to talk to either to the people who are going to view this, which is our veterans, consumers, people here at the show?
Well, I guess the only thing I can say is this: I'm really thankful for you guys and for your team and how you do what you do. It's a huge undertaking,
Yeah.
but you guys do a phenomenal job with it.
Oh,
and,
thanks.
I'm very thankful because and I'm just and another tangent here, right? I don't think that we do enough for our veterans as a country. I think it's like when they serve their time and their service is done, it's almost like, well, thank you, goodbye. and there's not enough effort spent on what happens to our soldiers after their time, and whether they've been in combat or non-combat or whatever the situation is. And I'm very thankful that you guys have picked up that mantra and have just run with it, because I think there needs to be more of that. My father, I've lost him last year. He was in the Coast Guard, served for I think 2 terms, I guess, but and there's a little piece of my heart. I just want to make sure that we appreciate or show appreciation, because I think the majority of the people do understand the sacrifice that our military makes, but I don't know if our military folks feel that.
Well, thanks for that. Semper Paratus for your dad.
Okay, thank you.
So last I'd like to say is just thank you. Thank you for NAMTA. We've kind of got awesome support this year, and in the years past from Leah and Mary, and especially you as leadership, who's kind of setting the tone for that. So for do that, we have a tradition in the military with the challenge coin, and it's not something, we don't give these out like candy. It's something that we give to for true team members of the organization, part of the squadron, part of the platoon, whatever. And it's something that it's almost like, hey, you're part of our family. So I'd like to present this to you, the Help Heal Veterans Challenge Coin, and say thank you so much, sir, for the help of NAMTA and your great support over the years.
This is a big honor. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much, and tune in to Help Heal Veterans at all of our social media channels. And thanks for your support out there. We could not do what we do without support of our donors and supporters, so thanks so much.